actually flooded 3 cities when they had to do that. So when they created Lake Mead and they dammed everything up, they filled up the Lake Mead Reservoir. 3 cities actually went underwater. And today, you remember I said it's 152 feet low? In 2014, the city of St. Augustine came back above the water. So we're seeing that. Saddle Island. Now you're saying, Ian, I don't see an island. That's because the water is way too low. Saddle Island is actually where I worked on the Lake Mead low-level pumping station. Right out on that island is where the pumps are that pump the water back into Las Vegas. I was out there for 1.5 years of my life. It gets up to 125. That's why I stand at the back tilt on the Arizona side. And as you walk up to the bridge, there is an alcove with all the information in it. This is the world's second highest construction or concrete arch bridge. Second highest one in the world, right here. Water right back out to their houses up in the hills. Now, Dolan Springs did get its start as an RV park, as a retirement community RV park for Kingman, Arizona, which is about an hour away from here, and also Phoenix, Arizona. So it was initially an RV park for those who wanted to camp out here. As they saw more and more traffic going out to the Grand Canyon, they developed services around that RV park. So that's the entire history of this town. You now know everything about Dolan Springs. Now you can see we are in the thick of this Joshua tree forest. A lot of these trees, 500 years old, here before the first European settlers stepped foot on this continent. Saw the bats flying out of that cave and said, there's a lot of guano in that cave. Guano, back especially in the early it doesn't rain for a little bit. I love it. Fire pit? Head to the Brad Garrett. He books the best of the best as well. So the top comedians who are still doing clubs, you will find them at Brad Garrett's at the MGM. At the Rio Hotel Casino, going up north a little bit, we have the Comedy Cellar. Yes, it's the same Comedy Cellar from New York, the famous Comedy Cellar where Jerry Seinfeld got famous, and Rogan was there, Burr was there. All the famous East Coast comedians got their start.
Well, guys, I am back from Arizona, dusty and dirty as ever, but I had an absolute great. Hold on, let me stop shaking this camera. Whew, I had an absolute great time. Definitely enjoyed the excursion. Arizona is so beautiful. I mean, I knew it was beautiful, but it actually makes you feel like you're not even in the US. It's gorgeous. That excursion is a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, must try. But I'm dirty and dingy. I need to take a shower. It's about 7 o'clock over here. And yeah, I'm gonna shower, get something to drink, because I really haven't been drinking too much alcohol because it's so hot. It's been like 108 degrees. But I did get some gallons of water while I was in Arizona because it's like normal price. Here, a gallon in Vegas on the strip will probably be like $15. So, gonna rehydrate, gonna have a drink. Then I'm gonna go get some food and I'm gonna step out tonight. Don't know where I'm gonna go, but I'm probably gonna walk the strip and just see what's out there for me. So yeah, guys, I will talk to you later. Hello, my dear friends and cousins. Welcome back to my channel. YouTube, Peace Jones. You guys don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, please. Share my video, share with your family, friends, share on social media. Just get the word out, okay? So, I am back with another travel vlog. Grab your drinks and let's chat. Today, I just have water. So, Arizona, super gorgeous state. Must do, put it on your bucket list, put it on your travel list. You gotta go, okay? Whether you do a day trip, whether you go for a week, whether you're making an extended stay, whatever. Go see Arizona, okay? That's one of the most beautiful states in the United States, hands down. And the beauty is like breathtaking and humbling. So you'll definitely love it, okay? So I want to start off by explaining my trip to Arizona. And then I also want to give you guys kind of like some tips if you decide that you want to go, okay? So I actually went to Las Vegas to celebrate a huge goal that I accomplished. And so in the midst of, turning up, Vegas is really loud and crazy. I said, hey, let me take a day and just go to Arizona. It'll be calm, soothing, and just like breathtaking, ultimately, okay? So I booked the day trip with the company Viator, Viatar. You guys, I have mentioned that I use this company in previous travel vlogs, and I will link the exact trip in the description box below. Probably not tonight because I'm kind of tired, but I will get it up there. And I believe this trip was between like $120 and $180. I can't remember the exact cost, but like I said, once I link it, you guys will be able to see. So basically, I did a day trip. It was pretty much a 12-hour trip. We left around 7 a.m. We got back around 7 p.m. So the way that Viator usually works is that they will either pick you up from your actual location, which would be like your hotel resort, or they will pick you up somewhere really close by. So they'll let you know the meeting point, they'll be in contact with you, they'll call you, text you, reach out, give you the time, everything, right? Another thing you want to do prior to taking your trip is read the reviews in the description. There's a description that includes like what this trip will entail, what is being offered, departure time, what you can expect, whatever, right? So I made sure I read those reviews, and I was really happy that I did, because I was able to prepare a little bit better, which I'll get into later in this video, okay? So yes, we left from Las Vegas around 7 a.m. It was in like a coach bus. There was definitely at least 30 some people, if not, I would say between 30 and 50 people on this day tour. So of course the coach bus had AC, it had a bathroom, and once we got on, they gave us a little card where we could choose from about 5 different breakfast selections. Made our choice for our breakfast, made our choice for our lunch. The breakfast, we stopped in Arizona and got it. It was, you know, decent, wasn't the best, but wasn't too bad. Then we went on from there. We hit the Hoover Dam. They gave us about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, to kind of walk around, read, sightsee, take pictures, take videos, and just admire the scenery and the Hoover Dam. Super gorgeous. I mean, literally, like, words cannot even express how beautiful nature can be. And it was just literally breathtaking, like just that. So the Hoover Dam was really cool. Our tour guide was great. He actually gave us, he was super knowledgeable. He gave us all the history of Las Vegas, all the history of Arizona, all the history of the Hoover Dam and the Grand Canyon. So that was really cool. And then from the Hoover Dam, we went straight to the Grand Canyon. Now, on tours, you can either do the west rim of the Grand Canyon or the south rim, okay? So the west rim is a little bit closer to Las Vegas. I believe it's like a little over 2 hours out, or just around 2 hours out from Vegas. However, the south rim is, I want to say, about 4 hours out from Las Vegas, okay? So choose wisely if you're deciding to drive out yourself or if you're deciding to take a tour, because the south rim, they do say you get a much better view. However, it's a lot further out, right? So you have to be willing to make that drive there and back. The west rim, you still get a phenomenal view. Absolutely didn't feel like I missed anything, and it's just a little bit closer, okay? Now, also with this trip, we had lunch. They went ahead and picked those up for us. Super fresh, super good. We were able to sit out on some of the picnic tables at the Grand Canyon and kind of, you know, have lunch there and then walk around. They give you plenty of time to walk as you please, you know, take pictures, sightsee, sit down, whatever it is that you want to do. We also stopped at an area called Guano Point, which guano is bat poop. And at that certain time, when I guess they named it, there was like a cave with a lot of bat poop in it. And, you know, guano can be used for a lot of things. One thing that it is used in is females' makeup products, so like mascara. So yeah, we stopped and saw that, and then we stopped at an area that is, don't quote me on this, but I think I'm pronouncing it right, the Wallape tribe. It was their native area, and so we got to see some different types of teepees. We got to see some fire pits. We got to actually see some of them, but they were, I think they had performed earlier in the day, but by the time we got there, they were kind of finished, so we didn't really want to like bother them. And then there's the skywalk, which is like walks over the Grand Canyon. I personally am terrified of heights, so I could not do that. It's literally like a glass like walkway, and you can just, it sits over the Grand Canyon. So I'm sure you can get phenomenal footage, pictures, whatever else. Me, I literally would have had a panic attack, so I didn't do that, okay? But yes, you have more than enough time to kind of like sit back, think, relax, walk, hike, whatever it is you want to do. So I tried to utilize all that time. I did some hiking. I took a lot of pictures. I took video footage. I sat down for a little bit, but for the most part, I was just like walking and just admiring the scenery. So yeah, that was the trip. After we finished there, we headed back to Las Vegas. And of course, you know, we hit a little bit of traffic, which may have contributed, I would say, an extra half an hour to our trip. So maybe we would have gotten back at 6:30 rather than 7 p.m. And yeah, it was just a really well put together, really well organized trip. Everything flowed really well. The group that I was with was really good. Nobody was complaining. And it was awesome. I definitely recommend it. It was so worth the money. It was so worth taking a day trip. And I really think that everyone would enjoy it. So now I'm going to get into some tips, recommendations, information about traveling to Arizona for a day trip. Okay, so first of all, I would say if you want to go to Arizona and you want to just experience all of the canyons, all of the hiking, all of the parks, all of the nature and, you know, natural things that it has to offer, that the state has to offer, I would say just book a trip to Arizona. Okay? I really think that everyone honestly would enjoy Arizona. It's just a gorgeous state, gorgeous opportunity to see just what nature is capable of. Like a lot of the things that the scenery, the sights just honestly look man-made. Like it looked like someone had painted them or someone had like sculpted them, but it's amazing that these things are just natural. Like they just, it's all Mother Nature. It's so crazy. But yeah, so now I'm going to get into some tips, some information, insight, recommendations about taking a day trip to Arizona. Okay, so number one, if you actually want to explore Arizona in its entirety and you don't want to be limited with time or, you know, resources or just one particular canyon, one particular area, I would say just book a trip to Arizona. Book a trip there. From what I've heard, they have really nice resorts, really nice hotels. And just do that. That way you can explore their food options. You can explore all of the canyons, all of the state parks, everything that they have to offer without having to, you know, rush back or not feel like you got to see everything, okay? But if you just want to take a day trip, I would highly recommend doing that as well. I honestly would love to travel to Arizona just as a trip. And I probably will do that in the future. But for now, the day trip really, really satisfied me. Okay. So one thing that you do want to know is that the later you get in the summer, the hotter it gets in Arizona and Las Vegas. Okay. It gets really hot there in the summer. And when I say really hot, I mean like on the average day, it's going to be over 100 degrees. So I traveled June 3rd through the 7th. And it was no less than 100 degrees every day. I believe the day that I traveled to Arizona, it was 108 degrees, okay? Now, the heat out there is dry, okay? So what that means is I'm from the East Coast, the DMV. We have a lot of humidity. So our heat is like hot and sticky. So you'll be sweaty, hot, sticky all at the same time. Dry heat, you're just going to be more so hot, but you're not going to get that like sticky, icky, just yucky feeling, okay? But the thing that I did notice is that in the DMV on the East Coast, and by the way, guys, DMV stands for DC, Maryland, Virginia. That's what we call this area. You can feel yourself getting dehydrated. You can feel yourself getting overheated. You can feel yourself getting fatigued or drained. And that's when you know you need to replenish your water and things like that. What I noticed in Las Vegas and Arizona was that you don't feel it until you almost feel like it's too late, right? So like you can just be chilling, you think you've drank enough water, you think that you're good, you think you've eaten, and next thing you know, you're just like feeling really fatigued or like really just off, right? So in order to avoid that, you want to make sure you're drinking a lot of water. And when I say a lot, like, I know people are like, I drink a lot of water, and you're like, well, how much? And they're like, I drink 3 water bottles a day, and they're talking about like the water bottles this big. No, you want to make sure that you are drinking at least a gallon a day when you're out there, especially if you're doing any type of strenuous activity or any type of physical activity, because naturally your body is going to become depleted and you're going to get dehydrated, and it's easy for you to get dehydrated in that heat and not even know it or feel it until you're in trouble. Okay, and the last thing you want is to be traveling hungover, which already is going to dehydrate you, and then you take this day trip, you're traveling, you're in this heat, and you get sick, right? Because at the end of the day, everyone paid for this tour. If you get sick, it's kind of unlikely that they're going to turn the bus around just for you when you're one out of like 50 people. Okay, so what they're probably going to have to do is just, you know, nurse you back to health, or have you just sit it out. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to waste your money. It's too great of a trip for that. Okay, so you guys definitely stay hydrated. No soda, no juice, water, water, water. Keep a gallon with you. I kept a gallon with me the whole time I was there. Okay, also make sure that you're eating. I know with me, a lot of times, like, I'll put off eating, or I'll be like, oh, like, I'll grab something, or I'll get breakfast somewhere. But it's like, sometimes you just don't know when the next stop is. So what I did on this day trip was I packed a backpack full of like little snacks. And I knew to do that because I read the review, and a few people were saying like, well, the breakfast isn't that big and hearty, so if there's some time before you get to lunch, you can get really tired. And I knew myself, I said, nope, I'm not playing those games. So I packed like some pretty healthy snacks, like the Belvita little like whole grain granola bars. I packed some nut and fruit granola bars, and then I had like some popcorn and a bunch of water, and that definitely held me over. I'm so glad I brought them, because if I didn't, I do feel like I would have gotten a little bit hungry. And because you're using a lot of energy out there to climb and to hike and to walk, and it's already hot, so you do want to make sure that you bring some extra little snacks on the side. And even if you're taking a full day trip, even if you drive out on your own, make sure that you have enough food, enough things to nibble on, some trail mix, something to keep your sugar up, something to keep you hydrated. Just make sure that you have everything that you need to be healthy and be safe out there. Okay, the last thing that you want to do is to be in the desert and have an emergency. Okay, all right, so that is pretty much it. I think those are all my tips and all of my pointers. Like I said, this is a great trip for anyone. There were some younger kids on the trip. Now, not super young. I think the youngest boy might have been like maybe like 8 or 9. Didn't really see anybody out there with babies. I did see some elderly people, which I thought was kind of interesting. Not to discriminate and say that they can't do it, but sometimes in those temperatures, and then, you know, with the West Rim not being boarded off or fenced off, it can be kind of dangerous. You have to watch your feet, make sure that you're not stumbling over anything or tripping, because you can fall to your death out there. So I thought it was interesting that, you know, there were some elderly people out there, but hey, more power to them. They can do anything that we can do, and they can probably do it better, right? So yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend that like for my loved one. I don't see myself taking like my grandmother out there or anything like that. I also don't see myself taking a kid out there, just because they get excited and they can easily just start running around, and then next thing you know, danger, right? So I probably wouldn't recommend taking any kid out there. Honestly, for me, just to be safe, I would say under 12, just because I feel like I said, kids can get really hype and that can end badly. But yeah, it's a great trip for couples. It's a great solo trip. I had a great time solo. great friend trip. I just think it's a great bonding experience if you go with someone, and it's a great, like, enlightening, almost like meditative, personal experience if you go by yourself. And I'm sure it can be romantic if you go with a partner, right? So yeah, that is pretty much it, you guys. I will link the exact trip in the description box later on, and I will have my Las Vegas vlog up at some point. I'm not even gonna give it a time frame because I don't know when I'm gonna have it up. It's a lot of editing and I have a lot of information, and so yeah, it'll be coming soon, definitely by July. Sometime in July, I'll definitely have it up, if not before then. But anyway, you guys, continue to subscribe to my channel, please. I'm seeing that I'm getting new subscribers and I really appreciate it. Please continue to share my content, like my content, comment below. Don't be afraid to interact with me. I love talking to you guys. Let me know suggestions. Have you guys taken this trip before? Have you guys done a full trip to Arizona? What's the best canyon? Did I not see the best canyon? I know they have Bryce Canyon, a few others out there. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this vlog, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.